what if balloons couldn't pop or deflate? Ben, you want to take this one?
Sure. So I sort of looked at the safety possibilities this would give us. So what was really fun about this particular angle is that I went into it thinking I was going to have to do a bunch of like math and stuff. Because, I have to like look at, how quickly a balloon would deform and like how much you have to slow something down for it to be a safe, collision or whatever. And then I realized that because the balloons can never break, basically like the rate that they'll deform, you can pretty much just massage to whatever you want because you'll just like vary like the thickness and material of the balloon and what's inside of it.
Like depending on how much air is in it, it'll be more solid, right?
Right. Well, so we'll get to that, sort of.
Okay.
So you've delegated your hypothetical research to hypothetical researchers.
Yes, pretty much. I decided that they can figure it out if I figure out the applications, because this lets me have more fun. So
I'm more the idea, big pictures guy here.
Exactly. Large balloon-shaped pictures. So the first thought I had was external airbags for cars. So sort of the ideal situation, what I'm seeing in my mind is we have all these like automated systems now that like you're coming up too fast on something and your car will like brake for you. What if also like it's trying to brake, it's not getting there, it could just like have some compressed air and just poof up some balloons on the front of your car to like absorb the impact more. That would be great.
Yeah, there's one flaw with this bag, because you could already do this, and if it worked, they probably would have.
No, there's actually several flaws with this.
Okay.
It turns out. That are going to wind up being the flaws with a lot of these ideas that I had. So here's the first problem, is that in this situation, you need the balloon to inflate quickly, obviously. Because, like, if it inflates slowly, you have to have, like, a real, like, hair trigger on this thing. And as we've discussed, these balloons are basically indestructible. So if it goes off and it's a false alarm, you just have, like, big balloons on the front of your car now. You can't really get rid of without, like, losing them entirely, which isn't the best system. So you need a good trigger. And the problem you have is that if you can inflate it quickly enough that it'll actually like be inflated in time, it's a pretty malleable balloon. And I don't think it's actually going to slow down your car all that much. Because it's just going to like depress when it hits the other car.
I have a solution.
What is your solution?
See, you're thinking about putting a balloon between you and the car, kind of collision mitigation.
Right.
What about collision avoidance? So what you put the balloons on the bottom of the car, and when it detects a collision, the bottom inflates very quickly, shooting your car and bouncing it away.
But I think you have the same problem where if it's going to inflate quickly enough, it's just going to like, your balloon is like thin enough that it's just going to like spread out under your car and do nothing.
Well, it's going to spread under your car and launch your car upwards. And then another balloon's going to inflate on the roof, and then you're going to be like a little bouncy ball bouncing around, which isn't great for the people inside, but maybe it's better than crashing.
I don't think that's how physics works.
Why not just like balloons all over the car? I think that's what this is leading to.
That is, well, we'll get there, sort of. So, sort of, that was the first issue I ran into, is that for generally anything where it would have to inflate like with a trigger, it's not really going to work that well because it's just going to like deform around the thing. Because even though like you can put as much air as you want in this thing without it breaking, but it's just going to get really thin and then the air is going to like go around the thing you're hitting like every time. So that gets to the second thought that I think one of you actually brought up at some point when we were talking about this initially, which is like a bulletproof vest situation. This actually works worse than the airbags. Because the same idea applies, but instead of just, you still hitting the thing, instead what happens is, so say you have constructed this balloon vest where you're covered in balloons. They can be full of these can be like sturdier balloons. They're still not going to slow down a bullet. What's going to happen is the bullet's just going to carry the balloon with it. So instead of being shot with a bullet, you're going to be shot with a bullet that's also carrying a bunch of latex and rubber behind it.
And then it's going to shoot out the other way. It's going to hit you twice.
It's going to slingshot right on back in. You are right. It's not good. So that took away the two main, like, ideas that I had initially. Because those were, like, the first things I thought of. I also had a couple ideas. One of the things that I think we also brought up was obviously different materials in there. And one of the ones that came up, obviously, was water balloons. And once again, in this application, I realized this is actually also a terrible idea. Because think about what happens when you, say, belly flop into water.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Which, that happens because you can't, like, cut into the water, If you, like, go in feet first, you, like, sort of cut into it and you have less, like, surface tension there. With a water balloon, that's literally impossible to do now, and it'll always be, like, belly flopping.
It is a pretty funny image, just imagining someone getting hit by a water balloon and it not breaking.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it will be fantastic, but maybe not useful for, like, safety purposes. However...
Yeah, water has the problem of being really nice and soft until it isn't.
Right. But, so sort of the things that we've learned is that, one, water is... So I guess the material inside, like, the thing inside the balloon definitely matters. We can sort of massage things with that. There are non-water things we could try. Two, you kind of need situations where the balloon can already be inflated, so you can have, like, a nice sturdy balloon that'll actually slow things down. And I thought I had a third one, but I don't actually have a bullet point here. So I'm just holding
it's a bullet
up
with, like, in brackets, like, to be added. Add
Right.
third point. Important. Don't forget.
Well, what's great is I was actually counting my fingers as I did this, and now I'm just holding up 3 fingers for no fucking reason. So I'm going to put those down and proceed to my
Do you
next
count
point.
with your thumbs when you count to 3?
No, I use the pinky, ring finger, middle finger. I do that.
What? God, that's the worst one.
Yeah, that's also weird.
I don't know. It's comfortable. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, anyway. Things you can actually do. Back to automotive safety. You can replace all guardrails with balloons of
All right.
sufficient density, which is much safer. Guardrails aren't very good for the person hitting them. Hitting a balloon guardrail with a car is going to be super fun.
I agree with that. Yes, I approve.
So there is an actual vehicular safety option. The other thing you can do is replace, at like off ramps when they have like the big things of water, like the drums of water.
Oh yeah.
Replace those too. So I think that's a legitimately workable idea. That could work very well. The other big thing I thought of was any time that you have like a safety net or like a safety mat, like they use in like stunts, you can replace that with a giant balloon.
Like at the
Which
circus.
is exactly, which is way more fun.
Aren't they already giant balloons, Ben? Like the big old square inflatable thing? Isn't that just a big balloon?
That one is a big balloon. They're not always balloons. Now they can
they
all
do.
be balloons.
I guess they do already do that sometimes.
I guess they actually do.
What if you filled a balloon with hot air and tied a little basket to the bottom
Ooh.
to transport people?
Oh, novel.
Oh my, this is an idea. This is an idea right here.
People would pay for that, right?
People would pay for that.
Steering's a problem, but I don't know if people will notice.
No one who really needs to steer.
Most vehicles, to be honest. Ben,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
probably a pretty good idea, actually. Yeah, so those were really, like, honestly, things that are stationary balloons are actually hard to come up with. Those were the two main ones I thought of. I tried to work out something where you had like a double balloon situation, but I could not actually get anywhere with that. The other idea I had was I'm wondering if you have a sufficiently thick balloon, if you could basically make an airtight seal on a room by just having like an open window that you fill with a large balloon. Because technically, if you can make that work, that is then the safest like zoo window material ever.
Until you run out of oxygen.
What do you mean?
What? No, I think Marcus is misinterpreting what you said.
Oh, yes. No, you would not like,
You're not in like a giant balloon room.
yes.
Oh, that's how I understood it.
No, I'm saying you have like an empty window that instead is a balloon that has been filled to the point that it's filling all the gap.
Like you stick a balloon into an open window and then fill it up.
Exactly.
Got it.
I think that would work. It would maybe not be the most effective thing. You should probably just use glass, but
Yeah, I think you're also just, if you can't look through, you've also just designed a
A
wall.
wall, yeah.
balloons can be clear. But
Yeah, they can be clear.
that's, yeah,
Okay.
maybe not that clear. It's a bad idea. I can freely admit this. But I'm not gonna lie. After I thought about the car and bulletproof vest thing, a lot of my safety ideas kind of went out the window. So,
Since we were talking about tires before, I do like the idea of balloon tires that can't pop.
yes, that is a good idea. Is a tire technically already a balloon?
I mean, if I see a tire, I don't call it a balloon, so no.
Yeah, there you go.
Isn't it just like a really thickly walled balloon, though?
No.
It's a tire.